synopsis of what happened today is a familiar face to many of you. Rick Amme spent more than 20 years in local television news, including anchoring newscasts and reporting at WFMY and WXII. 15 years ago, he left television to form his own company, and today Amme and Associates, which is based in Winston-Salem, is one of the nation's most successful and well-respected crisis management consulting firms. Rick, good to see you. Welcome.
Well, good to be here, Neil. Thank you very much for those words. I appreciate it.
When you heard Tiger Woods was going to do what he did today, essentially making a statement, no reporters asking questions, what's the first thing that went through your mind?
Well, the first thing that went through my mind is, why didn't he do something like this a long time ago? I wish that he had gotten ahead of this curve way back at the very beginning. There's an old saying that the truth is determined by the first one to hold a press conference.
Right.
And he didn't do anything remotely like that. And today, one of his complaints was that people were saying that his wife had hit him and they were wrong. Well, he could have squared that away 80 days ago, and so he didn't. He let that hang out there along with a lot of other things for 80 days, and so finally gets around to doing it. So I wished he had done more sooner, but then he did what he did today.
He made a big point to talk about privacy, especially when it comes to his family, and as you mentioned, he kind of disappeared right after the incident on Thanksgiving weekend. I'm wondering, how much privacy does one like Tiger Woods give up, given he's at this certain level as a public figure?
Well, I don't know. I don't know exactly how to answer that, because every crisis is unique.
Sure.
Everyone has its own solution, its own way of being dealt with, and sometimes the solutions work. For example, what he did today, which a lot of the media complained about because he didn't allow questions,
right.
That may turn out to be fine for him. I don't think so. I think it'll go a long way. But insofar as his privacy, I don't know. I think most Americans do sense what is fair and what is not fair. I think most Americans do agree with him that what goes on between him and what goes on between him and his wife and his personal behavior in that venue is his business. Beyond that, outside of that, his role as an idol, his role as the biggest sports star on the planet, that makes him, fair play.
Fair play. Yeah.
So the balance between those two is
That's
really
a tough one to call.
Significant. One thing about today that was really that struck me was, obviously we knew that he was carefully choreographed today. The other thing was that he was carefully coached. If you looked closely, you could see when he was talking about people in the audience, he was looking at people in the audience. When he was talking about the people at home, he'd look right into the camera and start talking to them. So he was carefully coached, and what I don't care for about that is that it can give the impression that he was doing an act. And I've heard of some people saying that, well, he choreographed this so much that he wasn't being a real person. And so my personal view, though, is I thought that he was rather genuine.
Yeah.
And when you looked him in the eyes, I thought that there was a lot of genuineness.
Yeah.
I thought there was a lot of authenticity there.
Okay, hypothetical. Tiger Woods calls you up tomorrow, wants Amme and Associates to be his crisis management consultant. What's the first piece of advice you would give him?
I tell him, sooner or later, he has got to get this issue off his back. Sooner or later, he has got to answer legitimate questions from a respected journalist. I'll give you an example why that's so. Mel Gibson recently made a media tour about his new movie. He got ambushed by a Chicago reporter about anti-Semitic statements he made several years ago because he never did address it. And so Tiger is always going to have this on his back if someday he doesn't sit down with someone and answer tough questions.
Thank you. We really appreciate you coming
My pleasure.
in. Would you like to anchor a couple of more blocks of news? You can probably do it.
I'm ready to go home, put my jammies on.
You can still read the teleprompter. That's good.
Yeah, without my glasses even.
All right. Rick Amme, always a pleasure. Thank you,
Neil.
Julie.